guys, my phone decided to just start. I watched it do its little spin thing, so I don't know why this is working this way. I'm good. So we're just going to jump right into this. I talk about talking to yourself like you would the 8-year-old version of you, and you ask yourself, why? Why do you want to talk to yourself like the 8-year-old version of yourself? Okay, we're gonna delve deep, because this is when I start getting nervous, so this means we're hitting a nerve. And this is what we're trying to do. I am overcoming a lot of obstacles in my poor head. 8-year-old me, my mom was hospitalized she had high blood pressure, and every medicine they put her on made it spike higher. So they put her in the hospital, and of course my grandma comes over, and we're not used to that. My grandmother was not that kind of person, but she came over and she took care of us kids. There was a lot of people that showed up, and they said, "Oh, you poor thing, what happens if your mom passes away?" And we're like, "What? This is a thing? The hell?" And yeah, I have a lot of trauma from being a child. My parents were awful. My dad had anger management issues, which he got under control when I was like 15. That's because my parents separated. And then he basically decided that it would be smarter for him to get stuff in order than to get a divorce. And he actually then decided he liked us kids. Or at least he let down the wall that he kept us separate from him. And became a really nice dad. It was really disturbing. Wasn't used to it. He would laugh at stuff I do, and I'm like, "You would have hit me before. Why is this funny now?" It's not worth getting angry about. I'm like, I knew it was never worth getting angry about before. Okay, you've learned something. Cool. Our relationship never really leveled out. But my mom's a narcissist. Everything falls around her. Everything we do is like, "Well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Why did you do it that way? You shouldn't do it that way. Your body shouldn't react that way. I take this pill, therefore you should take this pill." And it's like, I don't have that issue. You're related to me, you have that issue. And I'm like, I don't have that issue. I don't know why you're being so weird about this. So my grandparents had kids they loved. My grandmother had my Uncle Larry, and my grandfather had my Uncle Albert. My mom went and lived with her maternal grandmother, my great-grandma Greeno. I loved my great-grandma Greeno. I still love her. The person that I remember in my head, I still love. And she was just a very nice, but very strict lady, but very nice. And she was a very interesting person. My great-grandpa Greeno was talkative. He was a very talkative guy. He was like an extreme extrovert. And it used to drive her nuts because she was an introvert. And they would go into town and he would talk to everyone. Now, mind you, town for them was about 5 miles away. But this is a time of horses and buggies and then jalopies kind of thing. So it was a really big act to get ready to go into town. And then once you got there, for him it was like, people! Kind of like how I was trapped in a place and I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. I need to actually see people. I don't actually have to interact with them that much, but I have to see them. So anyway, so my mom has all this shit. Her dad committed suicide when she was 17, 16-ish, and left her a note thanking her for his last meal, which she had made him a sandwich instead of actually cooking something. So she has a lot of like weird shit that she's dealt with, and how she's dealt with it is being very controlling and very like unnecessarily, instances. I'll give you instances and then I can figure out wording for how to describe it. She lived in our house for like 10 years before she called it home. she would go stay with her mom at her mom's house, which they had just moved into not long after my grandfather committed suicide. They declared bankruptcy, got rid of the farm, moved into a house. And she would go stay there rather than stay in our new home because she was afraid, because it wasn't her home. And when it finally became her home, she then proceeded to not be able to go anywhere else. So she was stuck. That was a safe zone. And as long as she called it home, she was safe. I don't have safe zones. I don't even understand the concept. There is no place that's safe. I create safety because I'm just me. I don't need a place to protect me. Places don't do that. It's a thing. So I have all this nonsense that's happened in my world. And this poor little 8-year-old boy is trying to deal with the fact that his mother, who was always threatening to run away or kill herself or etc., is dying, or supposedly on her deathbed. Mind you, she pulls out of it. They find the right concoction. Everything comes together, and it goes on. But to this 8-year-old kid whose dad is angry all the time and takes it out on him, and whose mom is currently in a state of dying, this is the kid that I'm stuck when I am yelling at myself. That's the kid. So I've started talking to that kid like I really would want that kid to be talked to. My inner voice has changed. I don't say bad things anymore. I do start because that's just ingrained. But now it's not "you're stupid," which is what I heard a lot. Now it's, okay, what would we have done differently? How should we have done that differently? What would make a better impact on us if we didn't do it that way and we did it this way? And that's how I talk to myself now. That's the inner voice. The inner voice has become more of a teacher, a mentor, rather than a punisher. And I've been preaching this at work, and I have guys that come up to me and they're like, "I can't believe that worked." I'm like, "Why? Why can't you believe it worked?" They're like, "Well," and they give me for instances, and I've done a video on this, but I'm just wanting to get into the guts of this. And it was like, yeah, we're not horrible people. We talk to ourselves horribly. The Marine recruiter, when I told him about it, he's like, I took that and I ran with it. And he said, I feel so much better about myself as a person. He said, of course you do. Your inner dialogue is like 80% of the conversations you have with anybody. It's internal. And you have to treat yourself with respect. Respect. Because you're a good person. As I stand here in my underwear and I can see my junk. I'm sorry. But this is vulnerability at its finest. And you just need to sit there and ask yourself, would I accept what I'm saying to myself from somebody else? If the answer is no, you need to stop. You need to be nicer. Because 80% of your conversations are one-on-one with yourself. And that sets your tone. Are you an angry person who hates his life? Or are you a kind person who's trying to figure things out and fix things? That's the dichotomy. My life has been, up to very recently, a lot of anger. I have a lot of resentment for, going to my past. And I don't need that. That's a lot to carry. It's annoying, and it's not mine. I've made it mine. I drudge that stuff all over the place. But if you could set it down and walk away, would you do it? Yeah, I would love to walk away. There's a lot of things I'd love to walk away from. The fact that there's a place called Buckwood, not far from here, where my ex-husband now goes and sleeps with half the people that are there. Because apparently his new boyfriend's okay with that. And people from there, when they see me online, make sure I know that they've done things with my ex. Because somehow that's okay to do to a complete stranger who you're trying to impress. I'm not sure. I don't know what that's about. The couple times that's happened, I blocked the bastards. I don't know what else to do. Say thank you. Thank you for telling me that you slept with my ex-husband. Thank you for telling me that you want to sleep with me to see who's better. Because that's not how it works. Or maybe it is for you. These guys, not you. I know you better than that. These guys that are like sleeping with my ex and then trying to sleep with me because apparently that would be a cool thing to do. I'm like, well, of the many things that one can go out and, explore and or possess, like Pokemon, I'm not the one you want to mess with. I am sunshine and light until I need to be darkness. I don't like the darkness. I can pull it. It's mine. I own it. I have scared the shit out of people. And just with looking at them, I don't actually have to get aggressive. Apparently, I can see through you if I want to. And I have made people climb over other people to get away from me when I give them the look of death. That's what I call it, the look of death. And my mom was like, I know exactly what look you gave those people. And I'm like, why? She says, I memorized it. It is like ingrained in me. Your angry look is like death. Most of you will never even have a concept of it. The couple people that have, yeah, I think it's still burning in your minds. When somebody that's nice has to turn up the darkness, it's not pleasant. So, sorry for the long-windedness. I thought I'd show off my undies. And my belly doesn't feel as flat or fat anymore. It feels flat for some reason. And I'm just enjoying myself for a moment because it's not nice out. I didn't go for my hike today. But I did do a lot of like soul searching and a lot of chit-chatting with people. And I'm very like calm in my moment. So good job, universe. I love you guys. I love you, dude. Be nice, especially to yourself.